The political vibe after Thanksgiving felt weirdly tight, like the holiday fog hadn't even lifted before the country got yanked right back into chaos. And the story pulling everyone in was the deadly shooting in Washington, D.C., National Guard members killed, a whole city walking around under a heavy cloud. Reporters rushed in, cameras warming up, everyone waiting for Trump to walk out and say something. When he finally stepped up, he had that usual mix going on, confidence on the outside, irritation simmering underneath, like he knew the moment was serious, but also figured the press was ready to twist whatever he said. He gave a quick holiday nod, didn't waste time, and dove straight into the shooting. The first question hit hard. The suspect who carried out the attack had spent years working closely with the CIA in Afghanistan, and he'd been vetted again and again, supposedly clean. Now that clean stamp looked like a red flag. Trump paused long enough to feel intentional, then called the whole situation deeply disturbing, not just because people died, but because it exposed cracks in the very agencies meant to prevent this stuff. He said the deaths showed real oversight failures, hinting that this wasn't some freak accident, but part of a larger institutional problem. The press picked up on that and pushed back. Was he politicizing a tragedy while families were grieving? Trump shot that down fast, said sympathy isn't enough, accountability is part of honoring the victims. Ignoring government failures just to avoid bad optics, he argued, was even worse. Another reporter jumped in. Could the gunman's years in Afghanistan working inside high-pressure intelligence operations have left psychological scars that played into all this? Trump said, yeah, conflict zones can absolutely mess people up long-term, but that's exactly why the CIA needed better ongoing screenings. He said the system was using background check tools better suited for office hires, not people shaped by war. Then the talk shifted to election year fallout. Would this kill public confidence in national security? Trump said pretty much Americans are tired of feeling unsafe in their own country. The deaths of those Guard members, he said, showed how much the system had eroded, and he subtly positioned himself as the guy who'd fix that erosion. Someone asked if he contacted the families yet. Trump said outreach was happening and gave condolences, calling the Guard essential but underappreciated. Then came a broader question. Was this a one-off tragedy or a sign of something bigger involving people tied to foreign intelligence? Trump warned that vulnerabilities had been stacking up for years, blaming everything from border policies to inconsistent vetting. When reporters suggested his comments might stir unnecessary fear, he insisted that facing the truth isn't fear-mongering. Pretending everything's fine, he said, only makes the danger worse. When asked whether the intelligence agencies needed serious review, Trump didn't hesitate. Yes, CIA, FBI, all of them. He accused them of hiding behind their own reputations and said transparency was the only way to rebuild trust. A reporter tried to pin some responsibility on him, pointing out that the suspect worked with the CIA during years that overlapped Trump's presidency. Trump rejected that immediately, claimed the vetting failures came after he left office. He said the attempt to blame him was just political noise to distract from the real structural problems. From there, the briefing trailed into a mix of investigation details and big-picture warnings. Trump said agencies get wobbly when political pressure rolls in, and he urged the government to deal with weaknesses openly instead of burying them. But while all of this was happening, a totally different controversy was cooking. Trump's Thanksgiving message from Mar-a-Lago, a holiday greeting that started normally and then veered hard into dark territory, saying America was being divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at. Even some Republicans said the message felt more like a campaign tantrum than holiday cheer. Reporters brought it up, and Trump doubled down. No regrets. He even reignited his feud with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, calling him names right in the same holiday post. When asked if he felt bad about it, Trump said something was wrong with Walz and refused to walk anything back. Then things got strange. Trump randomly mentioned getting an MRI, said he didn't know why he got it, but clarified it wasn't for his brain because he aced a cognitive test. Social media erupted instantly. Reporters questioned the whole story. Trump brushed it off as just more political bias. At the same time, a new firestorm erupted around Pete Hegseth, the guy Trump had boosted into military decision-making despite a messy track record. Reports surfaced saying Hegseth had ordered teams during maritime operations to kill everybody on targeted boats, even if survivors were floating in the water afterward. Members of Congress from both parties said those actions could easily qualify as war crimes. Trump, sensing trouble, began distancing himself. Critics pounced on the irony. He had pardoned big-time drug traffickers, like former Honduran President Juan Hernandez, responsible for massive U.S.-bound cocaine shipments while supporting lethal orders against low-level crews who might have been fishermen. The contrast raised even more questions about Trump's foreign policy logic. And then came another twist. Reports revealed Trump had quietly spoken with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, even though Trump had publicly labeled him a dictator connected to terrorism. Asked directly, Trump first said he didn't want to talk about it, then admitted the call happened. Analysts immediately flagged it as another example of Trump freelancing foreign policy outside normal diplomatic channels. All of this dropped right as the White House showed off its holiday decorations, a picture-perfect, carefully arranged display by the First Lady. But the whole moment got overshadowed by the political noise, especially Trump's offhand comments that seemed to dismiss the effort entirely. The contrast between the polished holiday decor and the messy political atmosphere became its own little talking point. As the holiday weekend coverage wrapped up, you could feel the national exhaustion. News networks bounced nonstop between the D.C. shooting Trump's harsh Thanksgiving message, the Hegseth war crime allegations, shaky foreign policy moves, and economic worries. People were frustrated, tired, overwhelmed, like the country had been locked into a constant storm where every serious issue collided with some new political circus. By Sunday night, the sense of fatigue was everywhere. Reporters, lawmakers, regular people, they were all trying to process a tragedy with real consequences while navigating political chaos that kept deepening the uncertainty. A deadly attack, intelligence failures, a president amplifying division, and growing concern over unchecked military power all fused into one heavy, complicated emotional moment for the country.